My Turn podcast, a gaming podcast hosted by extra competitive siblings. My name's Jem and I'm joined by my littlest sibling, Erim.
Hi, how are you all?
Erim, there was such a delay on that hello, mate.
Oh, sorry, I'll try and do it a bit quicker next time. I'm at the mercy of the internet connection. Have we not learned this now?
Yeah, just...
We'll fix it in
Hi.
post, it's fine. Hi.
Let's just keep it in. And we are also joined by an extra special guest. Please say hi, Duncan Cowles.
Hiya. How's it going? You all right? You both all right? I mean, I know you're all right because we chatted before this, but the audience doesn't know that, so that's why I thought I'd ask again.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm fine. I just need the table during that introduction, laughing at Erim's audio delay.
It was quite a slow flow at the table. Hello. Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I can't even speak. Let's start that again. Thank you for coming on the podcast. My dog is licking my ankles currently, so I'm just trying not to laugh into the microphone.
That's all right. This is good. He's good for the
start
imagination.
to the episode.
Yeah, you can see his little tail wagging in the background. Not my tail. Not my tail. So Duncan, thank you for joining us today on
That's
this
all right.
episode. We are looking forward to chatting to you. We are going to go hard in on computer games today. So if you joined us for our last episode, we did a bit of a board game special, and now we are back to the digital things.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to talk about video games. Not in the habit of doing it publicly. That's the exciting thing.
Yeah.
Chat about games to like my pals, but I don't think it's not like I've ever. Normally, I'm used to just chatting about filmmaking, so this would be quite good. Yeah.
Embrace your inner geek with us, Duncan, because we are
Exactly.
massive nerds, Erim and I.
Yeah, well, I think so am I. I mean, I could talk about. I mean, I've been playing video games since I was like, I don't know, as far back as I can go, really. So as soon as I could use the computer mouse, yeah.
Well, we will get into it. Before we start, though, we always, when we're talking about a game, because we do a lot of games reviews on the pod, we always describe the game in a nutshell. So when we have a special guest on, we ask them to describe themselves in a nutshell. So if you could, please, Duncan, in your own words.
So you wanted like 3 words, right?
No, whatever you want.
1 word. Okay.
Just sum
anyway.
yourself up.
Sum myself up.
A short summary. Of
A
you.
short summary.
I mean, I guess you've got
okay.
to decide what kind of nut you are. Are you a walnut? Are
Let's
you
go
a
walnut
cashew? Is a cashew even a nut?
I'd say walnut, probably walnut, because they're they look like little miniature brains, so they must be quite intelligent, maybe. So I'll go with that. That would be like a good connotation, right? But not maybe not accurate. But no, I suppose I'm a documentary filmmaker from Scotland, Edinburgh, who makes short documentaries and I suppose more recently a bit of TV. And yeah, I don't know what am I known for? Being slightly miserable? I don't know. You might be better at answering that than me. I don't know, because you've known me a wee while. How would you describe me?
Well, I've known you from programming your short films in a film festival that I run called The Shortest Nights. And formerly we used to run a series of film nights under the banner of Short Sighted Cinema, which is, I guess, a short film screening event that we used to have in London. So that's how we've met. And yeah, it's interesting, your evolution of filmmaking, because the first few times I was introduced to your films, they were kind of straight documentaries and they kind of got funny and then they got really serious and sad and then they got really funny again.
Aye, well, it's a bit like my life, really. They mirror my life. No, Aye, so a lot of them are sort of hopefully funny, but then some of them, I try and like add in emotion when I can. Sometimes easier, sometimes not easier. But I think some of them did do all right.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't do all right, well, nobody knows about them.
You're being really modest. You've won quite a few awards over the years, haven't you? Like, I'm sure you have.
Over the years,
sure I've seen them.
if you,
yeah.
if you add up like 10 years, like there's maybe like a few, but not for ages though. So I'm nabedy now. That's it. I've got nothing.
Didn't
nothing
Taking
really.
Stock? That's the last one I think we screened. Didn't that
Taking
do
Stock
pretty well?
That did all right. Yeah, that was. Yeah, people enjoyed that one. That was like 2016, 2017.
What was Taking Stock?
Yeah. So it was like a film about my failed attempts at making stock footage. Well, I made the stock footage all right. It was more, I suppose it was more my failed attempts at selling the stock footage, and then that triggering a kind of existential crisis monologue while I was filming some fish one day at an aquarium.
It's really good.
which that was I mean, that one, like, a lot of people maybe know that one, or they know the one about my mum and the lamp that I made like when I was like, that was like almost the first one back in 2012. So those are the two ones that a lot of people recognize. But then there's been others, and then I mean, there's almost been one a year since 2012 of some kind, and then now I don't have a short film. But I did make a TV series. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing, that's like 3 hours of viewing, which is definitely not short. Yeah.
We'll do some shout outs for all your different platforms and things at the end. But just quickly, what is the series called as we're mentioning it? So people
it's called
check it out.
Scary Adult Things, which that's the title. It's about, like, I suppose it's about millennial issues, and a lot of them are just born out of my own insecurities. So I've kind of made almost like a mini little documentary where I go out and speak to people about different topics. And then obviously tying into this one, episode 4 is about gaming. So it's about kind of how I always feel for some reason a little bit embarrassed to tell people when I meet them that I play video games. I'm always a little bit hesitant, like, are they going to think I'm like just... should I have grown out of that by now, or like, that kind of thing.
So many people play video games.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a common thing, especially.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. I think.
I mean, I play loads, but
yeah.
I just don't tell anyone.
So
I do know.
That was an excellent segue from you, Duncan. So we're going to ask you a bit about your own kind of relationship with video games through your life, and we'll also chip in as well, and feel free to ask us stuff back if you want to.
Okay, let's do it.
So, Erim, do you want to throw Duncan the first question?
Yeah. So, what was like your first experiences of gaming? How did you get into that? Really? How did you get into gaming?
Sorry, we're just talking over you. Answer that. Yeah.
I know. Rude.
Sorry, that is the first experience as a child with gaming is. I remember, I had an older brother who's 7 years older. I remember he had a Game Gear, which is, I guess people are going to know maybe what that is if they're into gaming. But like, I guess the Sega version of a Game Boy was how I saw it.
Yeah.
And it was color. And I think that's why he had it. It was color, and the Game Boy was black and white. And that was like the reason he got it. Anyway, so played a lot of that. And then also, like, I remember we had a computer, and on that were some, like, maybe more, I mean, there were basic games, although at the time it was exciting, like stuff like Dr. Riptide, I think, was one of them, which was like a little, I was looking it up the other day because it just kind of came back to me, and I was like, what was that game I used to play when I was 4? But yeah, like, I think you're a little submarine guy going around shooting stuff.
Was that on like an Amiga or something like that?
I think, it was on the computer, so it could have been like DOS. It could have been like on MS-DOS or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're going back a bit. Like, I mean, I'm 30. So if I was like 4 or 5 when I was playing these, it's like I mean, we're like Windows 95, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the very best. So, and then growing up, and then stuff like Monkey Island I was big into, which, I mean, the first couple of games came out like 1991, 1992. I can't imagine I was playing them when I was 1 and 2, but it must have been.
They stuck around, because I remember playing them at uni, even though they were quite old by that point, like still discovering it almost for the first time properly. Uni.
They were.
I feel like they're still quite loved to this day and age, really, aren't they? They are classic point and clicky games, but yeah, even people I speak to now still quite like playing them.
They were, but they got remastered. The first 2 of them got remastered in like 2009, I think. Yeah. So like they, that gave them a little extra kind of resurgence or whatever.
Yeah.
And then 1, 2, and 3 seem to be people's favorites. 4 and 5, seemingly when it got into more 3-dimensional stuff, like they seem to be less popular. I still like enjoyed them, but 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I just played them for. I mean, I don't know how many times I've played through them.
Oh wow! So you've done several playthroughs.
Oh, and recently I did 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3. Well, 1 and 2 I did last year in lockdown, and then 3 I did again quite recently. Just it's almost like every 2-3 years I'll sit and do them. Do you know what I mean? It's like almost like a little
It's like revisiting a box set, but like
it's like I feel like it's this like safe, nice place to spend a bit of time when you go through these games, and it brings back memories, and then you wait another few years. It's like so I was doing that, which is I mean they're just they stand up now. It's just a shame they're not like, they can't make any more because of like a rights issue though. Like the guy Ron Gilbert that made the first 2, I think he sold it to like Lucasfilm or LucasArts or whatever, and they got bought by Disney, and so Disney technically owns the rights, but like they aren't doing anything with it, and so it's kind of stuck now. Like you can't. There might never be any more Monkey Islands. You know, it's just which is kind of feels sad. I don't know.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. I feel like one of those guys, the original team, did a game that I was playing on Switch, which came out a couple of years ago, called, oh my gosh, Thimbleweed Park.
Aye, so I literally just played that for the first time. Aye, like 4 weeks ago or something. Yeah,
oh, that's amazing.
Got it on. It was. In fact, it was on sale the other day as well. I was a bit annoyed I didn't wait, to be honest with you. But it was. Played through that. That was amazing. That's like the same guy, Ron Gilbert. Yeah. So he did the first 2. Yeah.
It's really fun.
Is it a similar kind of game, point and click as well?
Aye, it's the same. It's in the sort of same old 8-bitty kind of style as well. So it's classic point and click adventure stuff. Really good, and quite clever. I mean, there's like multiple characters, which I guess is more advanced almost than the old one. But it was difficult. I had to resort to walkthrough territory.
I did on a couple of bits, and I realised that I played it a while ago when it first came out, and there was this one bug, and I didn't realise it was a bug. And then when I actually looked up a walkthrough, I was like, oh, that's meant to activate something, and it just didn't. And I just thought I was being so dense. But there were a couple of bits. Like, I remember getting to the penthouse in the hotel. I just couldn't figure out how to do that. Like, that was one of the ones that I was like, I was doing it for ages.
Yeah,
how
I struggled with that.
Yeah, but that is definitely one I'd recommend to anyone who likes those sort of old school point and clicks with a bit of a mystery.
It's good. It's easy to get as well. You can get it on like the Apple Store, so you can get it on like an iPhone or a iPad as well. So it's not like it's not like you need a high-end gaming computer or whatever, you know. Which is good. It's a good thing about it, and it's like a fun. It's just a nice game. If you're into puzzles, I suppose if you hated puzzles, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah. If you want to go in guns blazing and just killing loads of things, not probably the game for you.
If you're a hardcore Call of Duty fan, and that's the only type of game you like, Thimbleweed Park's probably not going to do it for you. But yeah, if you like story, and I suppose it's got a lot of humor. That was always maybe with the Monkey Island stuff as well. Like there's like so much humor, quite dry humor as well, sort of like throughout it. So that always appealed to me. Yeah,
definitely. And the sort of layers of humor, certainly. I remember in Monkey Island a bit, the sort of layers of humor that probably if you play it for a second or third time, and maybe you can speak to that a bit if you notice more about that.
Aye. Well, there's like when I was playing it when I was younger, there was definitely jokes that I could pick up on the fact that like it was a joke, and so found it funny, but I had no idea what the joke was until later in life, and you watch it as an adult, and you've got life experience, and you're like, "Oh, that's the joke, right? Cool."
Yeah.
Like, and so loads of stuff made sense when I played it more as an adult. And in fact, that's the same with like, I mean, there's loads of films that I watched when I was younger that like I would laugh at because I could tell there was something funny happening on screen, but didn't really know what the joke was. And then you watch it, when you're later in life, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, it's actually a film about something completely different.
Yeah,
because you think you know what's going on when you're younger, but you obviously don't in retrospect. But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's other games that I've played, like replayed as an adult, and a lot of that's because of all these remasters that are coming out. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is quite popular now, and I'm well into that. Like, the Resident Evil remasters I was like big into, and they did a Command and Conquer remaster. Like all these things that gave me a chance to kind of relive. I think some folk are a bit on the fence about them because they're like, oh, can they not make new games rather than just remaking old ones? But if they stay true to what the actual game was like, I think it can be a really cool thing. Like with the Monkey Island ones, you could switch back and forth between the old graphics and the new graphics with a click of a button. So like stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, I think that's quality. But yeah, not for everyone, I guess.
Yeah. So when you got to the age where you started choosing what games you were going to buy yourself, what kind of games did you find yourself drawn towards?
I'm trying to think. So we had like a PlayStation. Again, that was my brother's, and so he would get stuff like demo discs. Just played a lot of demo discs, and then it's something you don't really get anymore, is it? You do get demos, I suppose, but demo discs.
You just get down. Yeah, you just download the free version of a game or light version.
Yeah. Or even a lot of the stores now, like I guess you can. I've only done this once actually, but you can just buy the game, and then if you don't like it within 2 hours of the amount you've played or something, they give you a full refund. I think like the Steam store.
I've never come across that one.
It's also, I think it's if you download it thinking your specs are kind of good enough, and then they turn out not to be. It's like a way of, they'll give you your money back. And I only did it once when it was a combination of my computer wasn't good enough and
you hated it.
I wasn't really enjoying it either. And I'd paid like 20 quid or something, so I was like, I'll get that back. But yeah, so what did I start buying though? I'm trying to think, like everything.
All that pocket.
Like honestly, just all like if there was a classic PlayStation game, there's a chance I've played it. Try to think like Driver. That was a good. All the Driver games, they were good. Metal Gear Solid was a favorite. That was another one that I played. Like I played it over and over again when I was younger, just like countless times. I don't know, like an unhealthy amount of time. I did have friends when I was younger, I should say, but maybe not like loads, but at least 2 or 3.
Did you ever used to game with your friends at all?
Yeah, I think all of them at that point in my life. If you take like the 3 main pals I had growing up, like all of them, we would do like 2-player stuff. In fact, that's a lot of what we would do, like messing about on the street with like bikes or whatever. And then PlayStation. At some people's houses, like some of my mates, or one of them specifically, he had a rationed amount of time. He wasn't allowed more than like 2 hours of like video games, or even an hour maybe. So that was a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, we played loads of 2-player stuff, just like so many.
Yeah, give us some examples of like the ones that really stick out to you that you were playing that you really enjoyed.
there was one I just rediscovered recently. Some video came up on Facebook, and I was like, oh yeah, I played that for like so long, and I'd forgotten until I saw this video called RoboCop LAPD.
Oh, I think I've played that.
Really,
it's kind of
bizarre.
crap, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the 2-player mode was like
kind
really
of crap.
Yeah. Well, it's like I don't remember ever doing the main game, but the 2-player mode was like amazing. So like you'd fight little like you both had a robot type car thing, and then you would fight against each other, and you would launch other robots at each other. So, yeah, I don't know, but I'd forgotten all about it until I saw this video, and I was like, oh, I used to play that.
Yeah, because we had Nintendos, so we never had a PlayStation. So like our memory of kind of co-op gaming is all Nintendo stuff. So probably while you were doing that, you were on the other side. GoldenEye.
Yeah. Well, I did play GoldenEye quite a bit, but it was basically all of us had PlayStations, so the only place we could play GoldenEye, it was a bit later, so it was maybe when I was a teenager, and I was like, there was this driving range that me and my pal would go to, where you would hit the balls for like half an hour or whatever, and then you would go to the cafe, and in the cafe they had an N64, and they had GoldenEye.
Oh wow!
So we'd spend like half an hour hitting balls on the driving range to like be allowed to spend like 2 hours in the cafe, like playing this little N64 they had.
All trying to get the golden gun.
But it was a nightmare because like it doesn't have you can't save your game, right? It's like it's like a public N64, but yeah. But no, I played that as well for sure. And Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers was good.
The original Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Saying all this about Nintendo 64, I was in Wales recording an album a few weeks ago, and the bass player and producer from our band brought an old school Nintendo 64, and I can remember getting one and just thinking, I was playing a game called Killer Instinct, and I thought the graphics are amazing. We put it on a TV that was like, obviously now a flat screen, is quite a bit bigger than the old Valve ones. The graphics are enough to like give you a migraine. It's just crazy, like how we used to interpret it as being like this incredible thing. We tried to play GoldenEye and it was just a disaster.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've found that going back to your memory of them is like the graphics were so good, and you see them now and you're like, how did I even?
Yeah, it couldn't even function. I couldn't even point at people who were beyond a certain distance away because they were just blurs.
Yeah, it's mad. There's like people's faces were just like flat with maybe like a blob in the middle.
Those amazing 3D graphics.
Like, I don't know how I followed the story. Yeah, like how did I know what that character was even feeling? But no, it's and the remasters draw attention to that as well, because I find when you're playing the remasters, I'm like, well, my memory of playing it is what it looks like when they've upgraded it in like 2020. Do you know what I mean? But and then when you switch back to the old one, you're like, oh god, this is like unbearable.
Yeah, it's like if you played any of the sort of emulators where you can go back through old arcade games and stuff, and because you're, as Erin says, because you're playing it on like a modern screen or a modern monitor, you're looking at stuff that you're like, oh, that was really cutesy and cartoony, that would be great. Like one of the ones we used to love playing arcade game was was it Double Bubble or Bubble Bubble? I can't remember. With the little dragons.
Yeah, dragons.
And then one of my good friends had an emulator years ago before everyone seemed to be able to get them. And he built one into like a fake arcade machine. And I was like, oh my God, you've got Double Bubble. Oh. So I was playing that and it just looked shit. Even though it looked how it was meant to look, I just remembered it being really cartoony. But then playing it again.
Bubble.
Yeah, oh God, I love that game. Have you ever played that, Duncan?
Yeah. I've not, no. I don't know if I've even heard of it. Bubble.
I think it was more like a NES
bubble
game.
gum.
No, it was an arcade game, right? Wasn't it like a Namco or?
We actually had a version of it at home.
Yeah, I
feel like it was
an Amiga. No,
maybe it was the Amiga, but I can remember playing it.
It wasn't a console game. But But anyway, like it just looked like a cartoon to me in my memory, and then playing it now, it's like it's really blocky. You can see the individual kind of rendered blocks, that make these little. They're like cute little dragons. It's almost like a precursor to Candy Crush because you're kind of knocking out bubbles, coloured bubbles in rows.
I think I might have played it actually. That was what was in my head and I was like, there was like a Worms version of a sort of similar thing called Worms Blast that I think I was reminded of it, and it was like, it was weird because it wasn't Worms, and it was like you had to get all the colour, you had to shoot the colours, and then when you got them in a row, it would like disappear. So like sort of one of them type things.
Yeah, exactly that. Because there was it was a kind of franchise, and there was a sort of platform version of it as well, which wasn't involving bubbles, but this one was bubbles that I remember. But speaking of Worms, that made me think about. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was thinking it's bizarre when there's like a game, say like Worms, that Worms is a very distinct format of like 2D or whatever, and then suddenly they do like a completely different type of game, and it's still Worms the brand, but like the game is nothing like it, like the thing we use where Worms Blast, where you're suddenly shooting stuff. Yeah. I always think that's so odd. They did another one recently, Worms. They did it was like not a turn-based one. It's just like you can fight the worms like non-stop. And I thought it was a bit rubbish personally, but I just was like, stick to Worms is always the sort of turn-based thing, But
because
there's quite a few different franchises that have
done that. Resident Evil's had one for it as well, yeah.
Quite a few different franchises that have done it, but I think the one that's been most successful is things like Mario. The amount of Mario games that have had spin-offs like Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, I
suppose Mario Kart and Crash Team
Mario
Racing
Kart
or whatever was really good, and that was like, I guess at the time it was like, it's never a racing game, but Crash Team Racing really worked. So I suppose it does work sometimes. Sometimes it really doesn't, and you're just disappointed that they've messed about. You just want them to make
just try to hash a game with an iconic figure on it to try and get it to sell when it's actually a pile of crap, really.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting with the Nintendo thing. Like, I feel like Nintendo are really precious with their branded characters, aren't they? And stuff is really good quality when it does come out. But yeah, when you were talking about Worms, I was thinking about another one that got kind of changed up. Do you remember? I think it was called Plants v Zombies.
Oh yeah.
You ever played that?
I've not played it, but I know what it is.
Because that was a sort of turn-based castle defense mobile game.
Yeah.
That then got ported to. I think it got ported to something like a console, and then it got made into like a 3D action game, and it's mad. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, I've not played any of them, but I remember seeing that had happened. Like, so I was like, I thought that was a mobile game.
Yeah,
but you get like, I suppose you get like mobile, you get like Angry Birds, and then suddenly there's an Angry Birds movie.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's yeah. I don't know what that's like, but
I don't think it was for our demographic.
I think
we were like a little bit too old for it when that came out.
It wasn't like a thriller. Yeah.
No, probably not. So coming to like you now and as an adult, what kind of games? You've touched a little bit on the games that have stayed with you, but what kind of games are you drawn to now? Like, what makes you think, right, I've got to get that? What are you playing more and more?
I give a lot of things a try. I think like story-based ones tends to be what I'm like drawn to more than anything else. So like strong, it's different. I suppose unless I'm playing it just like multiplayer with friends and it's more about socializing, like, and then we'll maybe do something I'm not like particularly bothered about the story. It's more about catching up with my mates. But like most of the time, gaming's quite a private thing almost, where I'm like, it's me and the story, and I'm like immersed in that for a few hours. So yeah. I mean, the big ones recently were like probably like The Last of Us 2 last year.
Right.
Like that was that was amazing. Death Stranding was a good one.
Yeah. See, I haven't played either of these because I don't have a PlayStation. I've got an Xbox and a Switch, so missed out on these. But yeah, I'm really aware of Death Stranding. I know a lot of people didn't like it because they found it too slow, but the people that did like it seem to have loved it.
It was slow, but like first few hours I was like unsure, and then I was like, I don't know, it hit a point. I was just like, I'm all in, and I just was like, I'd never played anything like it because you're essentially just a delivery driver.
Yeah.
When you boil it down, that's what you're doing. You're working for Amazon essentially. Just delivering parcels. It's sort of like, you're like, why would you choose to do that? I mean, there's people getting like paid not very much, like in really bad conditions to do it outside my window, and then like I'm doing it on the PlayStation. But no, I just thought the story in that was like blew my mind. And it had like big name actors doing the voice, the acting and stuff. So I was like Mads Mikkelsen's in it, and Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead and stuff. So which I also massive Walking Dead fan. So it was just like, yeah, that was a great time. And it weirdly, like I was playing it just as the pandemic was happening, and it weirdly, like a lot of the things that are happened in this dystopian future, where everyone stays inside because they can't leave their house because of the environment and the not so much a disease, but it's like a virus. It's more like other stuff. But the same thing of like everyone's stuck in the houses, and you're the delivery driver going connecting the world by going to all these different places, and it just felt like weirdly quite well timed. And what else have we played last year? I'm looking at my thing. Assassin's Creed. I did the new Assassin's Creed.
What, Valhalla?
Oh, Valhalla.
Yeah, we need to have a conversation about this. Me and Erim and our other co-podcaster Tim, we're all playing it, but I think we've all got very different opinions of it.
Has anyone managed to finish it?
Well, this is my opinion, is that I'm probably not going to bother. It's got so fed up.
I would say probably don't bother.
Yeah.
Like, I found it a bit of a slog. A sort of visually spectacular at times slog. You know, there's some nice rivers and mountains.
Yeah, I mean, the raiding was really fun. I'll give it that. Like, I enjoyed smashing people over the head with an axe. That was fun.
Yeah.
There was just a hell of a lot of boring story to get through.
I found the story really tedious.
Yeah,
I was rapid skipping.
Yeah, I was just like, just let me kill stuff. I'll be happy with that.
The first few hours, I was trying to keep on top of the story, and then it just got silly. By the time you get to England, I was just like, nah, this needs to end.
Yeah, and there's so much.
And the Norway stuff's better.
Yeah, I love the Norway stuff, but I like some of the England stuff as well, because it was kind of, it looked like it could be cool. Basically, it set itself up like, this is going to be really fun. You've got to like go around the country making allegiances. This is going to be cool, and then it just wasn't. And all the characters are just the same and boring.
The characters are the same, and the characters are not just the same in this; they're the same as like the previous game, and like you get the same sort of far too much repetition.
Yeah,
that's always been Assassin's Creed.
Did you finish it? You've got all the way.
I mean, not like I'm not like 100%.
No, but as in the narrative, because it sort of ends and then there's a bit more.
I did the main story. I suppose if.
Yeah, I won't spoil it. I've just seen my partner finish it. That's why.
I did like I did all the sections of the map.
Yeah.
Can't remember what they call it. The Alliance map or whatever he says. Or she says, depending on what because you can pick.
Yeah, I played as Girl Evil.
You played as Girl.
I did as well.
She's.
Did you? I did
really good voice acting from the lady that does that character.
That's
really
funny.
Good, I thought.
I did the bloke, but I did the previous one. I picked the female because I was told that the voice acting was better. On this, I didn't mind that. Yeah, I don't know if the acting was that standout from the bloke, I suppose, but it was all right. I didn't feel like it was his fault that it was
Yeah,
but
when
it
the
wasn't gripping
script
me.
is
Put
that
it that
bad.
way. I just think it has. I just think the
They're
Assassin's
not going to
Creed
be
games
employing me after these comments.
No, I know. I'm just suddenly
should shut
bashing the game.
up,
I mean,
really.
I enjoyed it enough to like finish it, I suppose, but it took me a while. Like, and it was I was getting annoyed. I was like, this is going on. But the actual finale of the game, I quite enjoyed.
Mm.
But there was a massive chunk in the middle that just dragged. Yeah. I still did it. It took me like 65 hours or something.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, did it take you
Yeah.
like 90 hours or something? I feel like you
think
could
it was
sink
65 or
150
something.
hours into this game. It's so big.
Yeah, there's like...
Because there's like
There is
all the
people that have done
Valhalla
it.
stuff as well. It's like...
I did the
it's another
Valhalla stuff,
game.
yeah. I know. It was... I did all that stuff. That stuff was like... I quite enjoyed that stuff, but that was almost like a whole other game in itself, yeah.
Have you unlocked Valhalla yet, Erim?
No, I don't even think I've got to that point.
Yeah, it's not a spoiler. Like, you're aware of Odin
Yeah.
the whole time. So, like, you just
Yeah.
get an... But it's like
it's
another
not.
map with another set of things to do. And another
Yeah,
set
I
of
know you've got
collectibles.
England and then you've got Norway and you can go back to Norway if you need, but I haven't got... So there's a third map, basically.
Oh, there's a fourth.
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. There's a small section in well, I can't remember what they call it in the game, but it's America, I think, or Canada. I think.
Yeah, and then
That's
that's
what I
not even
understood.
counting all the branches of the Animus stuff.
The anime stuff, yeah. I'm
Yes.
weirdly, I'm the one person I know that enjoys the actual present day storyline. No one else I know enjoys that bit, but that's actually my favourite bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know, it's
I
mad.
I get a bit weirded out by that. I just want to be a Viking.
Nah, see, I'm all up for the present day stuff. I actually enjoy that more than any of the Viking stuff, and it's probably like 0.01% of the whole game is the present day stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's got less and less with every game, right? They just seem to be doing less with it, and now it's just basically Far Cry. Like the game has turned into Far Cry.
I know, they removed it. Is that the same company though? Is that Ubisoft?
Yeah.
Aye, they do have a sort of similar mission style.
Yeah, with the newer games.
There's definitely a lot of crossover mechanics, isn't there, in the games?
Yeah.
And the other one was it some of the is it the Wildlands and there's another one, Tom Clancy one. Is that Ubisoft as well?
I've not played any of the Tom Clancy's. Might be.
I think
Ubisoft have
it's
got
the same,
a pretty
yeah.
broad umbrella with the type of things that they do.
They do. I mean, I do enjoy. I'd sort of enjoy them. I'd be annoyed if I'd paid big money for Assassin's Creed. I got it for like £25 or something, and was like, okay, I enjoyed it up to £25 worth, but the £60 mark would have been annoyed.
Yeah, we stupidly bought ours when it first came out because it was like October or something, November.
Yeah,
and it was still locked down. We were like, we'll just get that.
It was just you were in for, that was the point you were in for. So you got so it's no, I got it just before Christmas, I think, second hand. But
so what have you, apart from Last of Us and Death Stranding, what else are you sort of enjoying at the moment? Because we're still kind of in lockdown, we're coming out slowly, but are you still
you can
finding
go in
comfort
gardens
in your game?
I'm still playing. I mean, I'm kind of in between. I'm in between games. I'm looking at what's on the shelf.
And are you mostly a PlayStation player, or are you between?
Yeah, pretty much. I do have what do I have? I do have like a computer where it's like a Mac, so you don't get a lot of games for it, annoyingly. And I do have a boot camp which can play some PC games on it. So that's how I do like Monkey Island and stuff. But it's like 5 years old, so the computer's not quite good enough to run a lot of the high spec stuff. And I can do ones on the phone, obviously, and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have anything else.
That's all right. You're allowed.
I would like other stuff, but I
I feel
like No, that's a lie. That's total nonsense. I've got an Oculus Quest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Aye, just forgot about that one.
Just forgot.
So that's quite exciting. Enjoying that. Motion sickness problems, but
I was just going to ask that, motion sickness, because I occasionally do a bit of when I haven't really got any work on, because as an actor it's obviously a bit up and down. I do a bit of like games testing and market research,
really?
and I sign up for all the video game stuff. And I remember when they were developing the headsets, like they was every few months they would get you in to do like a motion sickness testing, and every time I was like, I'm either going to fall on the floor, pass out, or vomit. It was just so bad.
It's amazing how bad it can be sometimes. Like sometimes I play it and I'm fine, and then sometimes I'll play it and I don't know if it's just I'm moving too much in the game or whatever, and like it doesn't happen immediately, and it's almost once you've finished doing it, and then suddenly I'll be sitting there and I'm like, I'm feeling really bad. And then I'll be like, I'll have to like lie down on the bed, and I'll be like, yeah, I need a while, like, and I'll be there for like half an hour. It's like proper like really bad motion. I mean, I've done like a whole bunch of filming on various different sized boats.
Right.
And I feel like the motion sickness I get from that can be worse than boats.
Yeah, I can imagine, because I think because it's really intense on VR, it's a really intense like disconnect between what your body's experiencing and what your brain is experiencing, and I think that is just so much worse than real motion sickness. I
get this really intense headache with it as well, which I mean, this is making it sound awful. I still really enjoy doing it, so it's sort of in some ways I guess shows how good some of the stuff is that they've made. But I try and do it for like short periods of time. I don't do any like long sessions in it because it just ruins you. But the Walking Dead game, Saints and Sinners, for VR,
I couldn't cope
was like
with that.
amazing.
Zombies.
It was intense.
I couldn't cope with it.
It was intense in the best. I mean, it was like proper, like exciting, like, and your heart rate's really going. Do you know? It almost raised the bar. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back to games in the same way.
Oh wow!
But then I did. So I did. I mean, it was a.
Have you ever
a point where I
filmed
thought,
yourself playing VR?
Only once for the TV series.
Oh yeah, of course.
There's a brief.
Forgot you've done that. Yeah.
There's a brief scene where I'm like playing table tennis with the guy.
Tennis.
That's the only time though. I have an idea for a VR thing.
I think that would be really good. I mean, one of my favourite things to watch sometimes when I just need a laugh is there's a video on YouTube which is a compilation of people falling over while playing VR.
I've seen a few of those.
One of the greatest things I've ever seen.
There's folk like launching themselves across the room. Yeah,
it'll be like they'll take a step forward, but because they're in VR, like they can't judge the distance that they need to step or the pressure with which they need to put their foot down. It's just amazing. I love it.
I know. The first time I did it, have you played the rock climbing one?
No.
It's called the Climb, and you're basically a rock climbing up a cliff face. And I played that at my friend's house before I had one. And when you drop off you slip and fall, like my knees went, and I was suddenly like sort of dropped to sort of like almost sitting on the floor, and my stomach had gone through, like just totally gone through my head, because it was like, because my brain was like, you're falling off a mountain.
Yeah.
But obviously I wasn't, and it was weird. It was like a roller coaster or something.
Yeah, I've played like roller coaster sim ones where you just basically just watch it through the headset, and oh my god,
that's asking for motion sickness. Really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what a mug. Why would I sit through that?
Sign me up for it. Yeah.
Does that work? Does that give you like a similar experience to actually? Really? Oh my god, I need to try this.
Your brain. This is what it makes me realise. Your brain is so powerful. Your brain can pretty much convince your body of anything.
Yeah.
Like,
that's it.
It's mad, and because it's
bizarre.
It's not like when you're asleep. There's hormones and things going on which stop for most people, stop your body moving while you're experiencing stuff in dreams.
Yeah.
But when you're awake and experiencing stuff in your brain, your body's like, nah! It's just freaking out. Nah!
Yeah. It is intense. That's why, like, when the zombies are coming at you in the game, and you're struggling to reload your gun or whatever, it is like really
mate. That sounds like hell for me.
The intensity is,
God.
Yeah. It's quite addictive though when you're in. Oh, I found it quite addictive. I've not done it in a while.
I've never even played it, actually. I've never even had a go on it.
Yeah, get on it.
I thought it would just become like a bit of a gimmicky thing. You know how
I thought that, but
for a long time, virtual reality has been a bit of a like, oh look, you do virtual reality, but it's never been really polished or well executed. But yeah. I think now the technology is getting to the point it's catching up, isn't it? Yeah.
I did quite an interesting, like, I got asked, start of last year, sort of before everything went bad, to go on a training course. Like, I just kind of got an email. It was like, we're doing this like VR 2-day boot camp thing, trying to get more people involved in VR.
Yeah.
We're looking at like filmmakers and like writers and stuff, like just to, we're doing one in Scotland. We're looking for people that might be interested. It's free, you've got to just apply and stuff. And I sort of looked at it and I was like, that looks quite fun actually. Like, and like, you just learn about VR for 2 days and the industry. And I was like, cool. Signed up for it, got onto it in like 2 days, like up in Dundee. And it was amazing. It was like 10 of us and we just got taught about the VR industry and like all the different uses for it. And then we got shown loads of like the more cutting edge stuff that had been done. And it just blew my mind. And I was like, I came out of that like, yes, I'm gonna like make a VR project, but then I haven't. But
make one. We can come and be in it.
Yeah. But I thought it got me quite excited for the potential of it though. Like there's like so much that you could do and like mapping rooms and there's like loads of good stuff. But it's a bit more fiddly than just like with filming. I can pick up a camera and like go and film something and like edit it together. With VR, you sort of need to know how to.
Well, this kind of brings us on to like one of the questions we were going to ask you actually. So if you had like free reign and you could invent in any game, what would you actually make?
Well, there's a game that there's like
there's
probably two answers.
I
There's probably two answers. There's a game I really want to make a game in the series called Balance the Stick. Which where you just balance a stick. Yeah, and I was like really wanting and part of the releasing of the series, I really wanted to like make the game to go along with the release of the series. There's all sorts of issues to do with BBC and how much it costs to make a game and various things that like stopped us being able to actually do it. So I haven't been able to do it yet. But like, I'm still holding out for like there might be a way to make it happen. But I don't think it'd be that complicated. It's just like
let's crowdfund it.
Let's
do a co-project and crowdfund it. Balance the stick.
But that I think so there's that. And then what else would I make? The thing is that's probably at the moment all I've got. I think I don't know. You know when you get those game makers like was it that one that came out a couple of years ago, Dreams or whatever, or last year, Dreams.
I don't know.
Like a sort of world building game.
Oh, okay,
suppose, right. And you can make a game within the game is basically you can design your own game or whatever. I got that thinking, I'll do something cool, but I just end up trying to like make my own house in like the game, and then I sort of.
So you might as well just have Sims.
Yeah, like I just exactly. I half get there, and then I sort of lose interest, and I'm like, yeah, I got something else to do. Like I'll just play, Assassin's Creed because they've made the game already, and it can just be enjoyable. But when I'm actually trying to make it in the controller, and I'm trying to fiddle about with trying to make something a different size or whatever, I get up because it starts to feel like work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess you've got to enjoy that kind of fiddly detail, whereas what you do for your work is more about kind of spotting moments with people, and that's more immediate, and also you can kind of have an effect on what you want to pick up and how you want to record it. Whereas
I don't think I have the patience
it's really minute, isn't it? Yeah.
I've always thought like, oh, I'd be an animator if I had more patience, because like I love the format and I love animation and I've got loads of animator friends, but I just don't think I've got the patience to sit there and like do it if it takes a long time. Whereas with filming, it's like I can pick up the camera, go out, you know, like if I really wanted to, I could go out and film something just now and then get it back in here on the computer and like have it edited this evening if I really wanted. You know, it probably wouldn't be very good, but like that immediacy is like one of the big appeals. Whereas game making, I feel like by the time I finished the game I would have been well over the point where actually, you know, it was like I'd be done with it by the, you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's a big investment. It's a massive time sink. You've got to have like the kind of brain that can, I guess, put all those puzzle pieces together in advance.
If I worked with someone that could do it, if I could get like a person that's into the building of it and stuff and like direct them to make the things.
Yeah.
And then I could go off and like maybe film something for a bit and then come back and be like, oh, okay, this bit's done, good. That would be great. But I think
you could just shoot the mocap. Just get mocap, direct the mocap, and then.
To be fair, I almost did a behind the scenes film for a games company once.
Oh, wow.
And I was quite excited about that because I was like, oh, that'll be quite cool because I'll get to edit all the games footage and stuff. But didn't end up happening. So
I guess we just need to put all of your energy into Balance the Stick. And
Balance the Stick.
Balance the Stick is going to happen.
Balance the Stick.
I think it's a winner. I think it could really hit the big time if
I think so. Also, the title is amazing.
Aye.
So, tell us a little bit about where our listeners can catch things you've done and anything else you want to say about the series as well.
Yes, I suppose. Well, the series is easy enough. It's on iPlayer for at least a year, so scary adult things on iPlayer. If you live in the UK, if you don't live in the UK, I guess you'd have to use like a VPN.
Stream it.
Yeah, find a way.
Find a streaming site.
Find a legal way.
Sorry.
But yeah, no. And then anything else I've done. I mean, you can find me on like social media. Again, I don't know why I feel like I'm saying that. Like
it's a normal phrase these days. It's 2021.
I've heard of it.
Social media.
Yeah. Just with my name, so like just Duncan Cowles is, you know, and like just at Duncan Cowles on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. I even have a Twitch account actually.
Show notes. Do you? I was actually before we ended gonna ask you, do you stream?
I haven't done yet.
After the episode that you made, like, did you start doing it?
Not yet, but I might. It's one of the ideas behind promoting the series is maybe doing a couple of streams. But like, I've only got one follower on Twitch, so it could be a bit of a hit or miss. But I think I don't know. I quite like the idea of doing it. I think my fear is I would do it and there's just no one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I read this article about there's like X amount of streamers who are streaming all the time to 0 people.
Yeah.
And when I read it, I just thought it was like terrifying and like really quite dark. And like this idea of people seeking connection, but there's no one there, but they continue to do it for like, they'll stream for hours, almost waiting for people to appear. And I just thought it's almost nightmare territory of like, God, that could be me. I feel like
we've got a Twitch account, and I was streaming for a bit, but there was always people, but it was always like 3 or 4 or 5, like, or maybe you'd get 10, and it's like, that's weird because I'm not even promoting this. But I was just, my problem is,
and do they speak to you?
Sometimes though, you just get likes. No one would actually speak, so I wasn't really speaking much. I was speaking a bit, but I was just playing. I was just did it as an experiment. a couple
Were you
of
just
years
playing
ago.
the game and then you?
I was just playing the game, but like talking.
Stream.
Yeah, I talk a bit, but I wasn't like chatting to people in particular. I was just like, I'm just going to see what happens. I remember I was playing Tomb Raider at the time, so it was a few years ago. So whenever the last Tomb Raider came out,
the third remake or the third newest one.
Yeah, the third newest one.
Rise of the Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I think I was slagging bits off because it annoys me in parts, but yeah, it was just sort of weird that there were people. So it's weird what you're saying, because I'm like, I didn't try, but there were people just watching, and then they'd sort of disappear, but then more people would come. So I feel like, I don't know, like what time of day are these zero streamers streaming at?
I don't know. I'm intrigued. It was I don't know what the article was in some trendy magazine. I can't remember.
But the thing is, I guess, is what you stream on. Because like now we can't really stream. I haven't really got anything to stream on. I use a Mac for my desktop. Macs are no good. You can't really.
I know that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I think from a technical point of view, I'd have to do it through the PlayStation and use
a
camera it's got. So it wouldn't be very good, but maybe that's all right. Maybe it would be enough. I don't know. Like, I quite like the idea of it, and maybe I'd be able to wrangle a couple of folk.
Yeah. Oh, let's do it. I'll go back on mine, you go on yours, and we'll just say hello to each other and send our 10 followers back and forth.
Could at least follow each other on it.
Yeah,
you can be my second follower. But yeah, I suppose I do have. Yeah, so I've got. If I've got in social media, my name will be whatever my handle is, and then obviously website's the same. It's just my name.com.
Cool. Well, we'll put some links in our show notes, and then when this episode goes out, we'll link. So if you're listening to this now, we will link all the things in the show notes and our socials as well. So yeah, go and check out what Duncan's doing. Go and watch his shorts and also his brilliant series, Scary Adult Things. And just support his work, because he's a thoroughly awesome, fun, entertaining, brilliant, talented guy.
Thanks very much. Very, very nice way to describe it. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
No, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
Got any last words, Erim?
No, other than you've sounded like a robot for the past 10 minutes.
Have I? That's interesting. Yeah. It's good we're doing this on separate microphones. You listeners will not have heard a word of that robot sound.
It was a bit glitchy, but yeah, I presume that'll be all right on the actual mic.
Let's hope so. Otherwise, this is going to be interesting. But thank you so much for joining us on this episode of My Turn Podcast. So we will catch you next time. Thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, please share. And also, if you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please see it within your hearts to give us a 5-star review. It really helps us get seen. And yeah, tell your friends, or if you're a gamer and you're playing something fun, or you've got a type of gaming that you want us to talk about, give us a shout and we will very happily take your recommendations.
Suggest some games, yeah. Give us some games to play.
Thank you so much. You'll hear us next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.